Yeah. On the web only segment, Jeff and Jesse breaking down four of the matchups that don't have quite as much luster, Jeff, as some of the other ones that we do out there for the masses on MCN6. But fantasy owners care about every matchup, so we dedicate this segment of our show every week online only.
Yeah, this is a way to get other people to go online and check it out. You know, there's a lot of important players going off this weekend in the NFL's first week of the season. So we've got four matchups to break down. And we pretty much have no other choice but to do it this way because we only have an hour of produced television and we want to keep it fun and funky fresh. So we've got this web-only segment so that we can still cover all the matchups.
And it gives people at home a real good reason to go online and check out the web. So our offering is very solid this season. We thank you for stopping by. The first web-only segment, the first matchup in the web-only segment, Detroit against Atlanta. Jeff, two teams that aren't really going anywhere in a hurry. What are the fantasy plays in this matchup that pop out to you right away?
Well, I'm going to start with Detroit here. I really like their passing game so far. I think that they're going to really get things going early in this game. John Kitna has got a good chemistry with both Roy Williams and Calvin Johnson, and I really expect him to do a nice job when it comes to getting the ball to those guys down the field. Atlanta's defense really going to be suffering a lot from the loss of D'Angelo Hall, so I think that the passing yards are going to be pretty easy for the Lions here in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Lions looked great on the passing side of the ball throughout the preseason. John Kitna was popping off. They're going to take to the air for sure in this contest. What do you think about the running game? Rudy Johnson coming over, a new member of the Lions, Kevin Smith, the rookie there. Do we just avoid all these plays? I mean, it's Atlanta. You got to think something's going to get done on the ground.
Well, I think that they're going to be able to move the ball on the ground, and Rudy Johnson just got to town. Very, very warm welcome by the team. In fact, one Tatum Bell who had just gotten cut the very same day that Rudy Johnson was coming into town, probably in a feelings of ill will toward the team, maybe a little bit of in shock. This behavior, it definitely doesn't smack as normal. But Tatum Bell stole Rudy Johnson's luggage and took it to one of his booty call girl's house and left it there. He admitted to it, didn't realize he was on camera, like security isn't something important in the NFL. Brought the luggage back. It was missing money, credit cards, and some Perry Ellis underwear, apparently.
Nice.
One source says. So Rudy Johnson's going to get a chance, I think, to get a goal line carrier, too. I think he could get in the end zone here in this game. The yardage probably is going to come from Kevin Smith. I think that he probably understands the playbook well enough by now to move the chains in between the 20s. I think that it will be Rudy Johnson when it comes time to get the ball in the end zone, though.
Now, the Falcons have a new quarterback at the helm. Their rookie, Matt Ryan. I definitely like him going forward. I would hesitate to start him in a fantasy situation. His first ever NFL start. It still will be nice to see his development, but Roddy White, a guy that stepped forward last year, can fantasy owners play Roddy White here, or you know, is Detroit's secondary have a playmaker to stop him?
Well, I think that Roddy White is a very talented player, and I do think that if they can get him the ball, he's going to be able to make some moves and find some room. But I think that for now, Matt Ryan's inexperience, it's going to translate into inconsistency on the football field, which translates into very poor numbers for the passing game all around on the fantasy field. So I really do think that in order to keep him with the pressure off him and stuff, they're going to rely really heavily on the run, and I love Michael Turner.
Yeah, Michael Turner popping off early and often in the preseason, making some big explosive plays. Get him in your lineup this week in this matchup for sure. The next matchup here in this segment, Arizona Cardinals traveling to San Francisco to play the 49ers. Jeff, the Cardinals are rolling out veteran quarterback Kurt Warner as their starter in this game. Now, the Niners do have some decent play at the cornerback position, but the Cardinals are loaded with wide receivers. They should all be in play here, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that the Cardinals are going to be a really good start here in this game. I do like Warner. He brings a savvy veteran leadership to the team.
Absolutely.
It's just what they need. You know, that's who the players want to see on the field. I do like the passing game from Arizona a lot. This is a team that utilizes their pass to set up the running game, and I think they're going to do that in a nice way here this weekend. Love Larry Fitzgerald. Bolden makes a nice start, and Edge is sneaky.
Yeah, Edger and James owners, definitely a name for you here. Tim Hightower, if you haven't picked him up already, it wouldn't be a bad idea to do so. He's looking like he could steal some goal line touches from Edger and James, so, you know, be concerned about that. But should Edge suffer an injury, Hightower would be the guy taking over there. So it's been a little bit of a change in the handcuff situation. As far as Frisco goes, Jeff, it's basically Frank Gore and a whole bunch of other question marks. You got to start Gore against Arizona, but is there any other player you can think about here?
Actually, no. Maybe Vernon Davis. I think that if you've got him, there's a chance that you went with the late tight end, try to get 2 of them. If you've got him, you're trying to choose between him and Dustin Keller, then go ahead and give him a try. He does have talent. I think that this team is going to get snuck up on by a tough defense. And I'm really concerned about San Francisco's ability to move the ball at all. And honestly, I'm selling all Niners, and I don't really like Gore as much in this situation because the Cardinals have a sneaky defense, and I think they're going to surprise some people this year.
Sure. Well, if you've got Gore, you're definitely going to have him in your lineup.
You have
He's one of your top 10 backs, so he's in there. But the wide receiver position, pretty diseased. Isaac Bruce is old and probably, in all likelihood, will be this team's best receiver. Antonio Bryant didn't play at all throughout the preseason, so forget about the rest of those Niners. Tampa Bay traveling to New Orleans to play a team, Jeff, in the Saints that missed the playoffs last year. They have high hopes for this season. They've got an explosive offense.
Yeah, well, the Saints are looking really good. I think they're going to pass the ball a lot. I'm not convinced that they've got the muscle in the running back position to be able to move the chains between the tackles. So I think that when it comes to third down, they're going to be throwing the ball like 80% of the time.
Yeah.
So I really like Marcus Colston, Jeremy Shockey, and Reggie Bush, especially in PPR leagues.
Yeah, I think all those guys are in play here for sure. It's going to be interesting to see Shockey on the field. Hasn't had a lot of time with Drew Brees, but this explosive offense will definitely present him some opportunities. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jeff, their skill position players definitely did well last season. The key guys at key places, Joey Galloway had a 1,000-yard season. Ernest Graham showed up on a national scale for the first time as a fantasy factor. What do you do with these guys now? I mean, they haven't really shown us a whole lot in the preseason, and I get the feeling that Tampa might suck this year.
Well, I'll tell you that New Orleans stopped the run fairly effectively last season, and I don't think that Ernest Graham is going to find a lot of room to maneuver between the tackles. The Bucs are pretty good at getting him involved in the passing game. But Jesse, here's a name for you that I think could pan out. If we look at the Saints defense, they were the second worst in the league at stopping the pass last season.
Are you going Antonio Bryant?
And I am going Antonio Bryant
Antonio Bryant
I think that,
on the bit.
And if you read the matchup segment, I got to do this game. I think that Jeff Garcia is going to have a pretty good start, about 250 yards through the air, and then he's going to split 2 touchdowns, one touchdown between Bryant and Galloway, and I do think that Bryant will hit the bomb. I'm not necessarily suggesting that you start him in this game because he has been extremely inconsistent throughout his career, but if you take a look at your waiver wire, I almost guarantee that he'll be there. So if you've gone extremely thin at receiver, then he is a guy who isn't necessarily going to hurt you. So is that all because of Antonio Bryant, dude, or did you have a few too many at the Rage show, bro?
I went to the Rage Against the Machine concert last night. My head's been spinning a little bit today, so sorry about that, people.
Good time to remind everybody that we do the taping on Thursday. So whenever you take a look at this one, you might be last night because we could have this one up tonight.
Yeah.
And so I know you had a great time last night seeing one of your favorite bands, Jesse. I'm sorry that you're feeling a little bit green today.
Denver at Oakland in the final matchup of the web-only segment. This will be the final game of the Week 1 slate. I love in Week 1 how the NFL has now adjusted its schedule to show us 2 Monday Nighters.
Yeah, that's money.
That's football gluttony right there, and I love football, so definitely elated about that being in play.
And you're a pretty big glutton, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Denver at Oakland. Jeff, Denver was one of the worst run-stopping teams in the entire league last season. They really didn't address their needs along the defensive line. Oakland, a surprisingly good running team last year behind an offensive line that has improved. I think the Raiders might run the Broncos out of this game.
I agree with you, actually,
Nice.
100%. And I'll tell you what, I'd like to just encourage everybody right now who's watching this web-only segment to participate in the Pick'em Challenge. If you go on there, you'll see I picked the Oakland Raiders myself to win this game. I think they're going to come away with a high-profile victory for their team. Big divisional matchup. They want to get started in the right way. It's a new era with Jamarcus Russell under center. They're going to run the ball like crazy and try and play defense to try to win games. And I think they can be effective because their defense is sneaky.
I think so, too. I'm actually starting Justin Fargas as a flex player in one of my leagues. I don't know if he's going to get all of the touches. I'm pretty sure Darren McFadden will see a significant amount of carries. as well. But I think this team wants to protect Jamarcus Russell, and I think they could run the ball 35 or 40 times in this game to protect Jamarcus Russell and to try to get the team a W. No wide receivers in play for Oakland. Jamarcus is too risky. But on Denver's side of things, there is a quarterback you could potentially play in Jay Cutler, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to play Jay Cutler this weekend. In fact, I don't have many leagues. And the main reason why I don't want him is because Brandon Marshall, their big playmaking wide receiver, is suspended for this game.
And Oakland's secondary.
And not only that, but Oakland's secondary boasts both D'Angelo Hall and Nnamdi Asomugha. So got to give big props to our buddy Nnamdi. He's got one of the most unique names of anybody I've ever met. So a great guy.
Yeah, no kidding. So I think upon looking at it again, I definitely think the Broncos are going to struggle in this game. I'm not sold on either of their running backs.
Yeah, me neither.
Hall or Selvin Young. I don't know. I think Mike Shanahan may be losing his touch a little bit.
And if you went and got Big Scheffler, I think that you might want to look for a different option. He might prove me wrong, but if you've got him, you want to have a couple of guys that you can choose between.
Absolutely.
Scheffler was a sleeper early. His stock's really fallen.
Well, thanks for stopping by and checking out the web-only segment. Peruse the wares here at testosteronesports.com. Come back early, come back often, and tell your friends about it. This is the place where fantasy information is proliferated by Jeff and Jesse. See you next time.
Yep.